Good evening. Just a few moments ago, President Donald Trump concluded his first address to Congress as our nation's 47th president. After hearing from our president, I walked out of that chamber beaming with optimism, pride, and hope for the future of our nation. The golden era of America is here in full swing. The contrast between what we experienced together the last 4 years under Joe Biden and now could not be clearer. We witnessed the greatest political comeback in history during the 2024 election of President Trump. Now we are seeing our nation on a comeback. And as President Trump said tonight, the renewal of the American dream. Never have I been more excited about being part of a movement like this. The success of the Trump administration in just the first 6 weeks has been nothing short of remarkable. In fact, this administration has done so much in such a short period of time that many people have likely had a tough time keeping up with all of the wins. Within hours of taking office, President Trump began the critical mission to secure our southern border. Under his instruction, Immigration and Customs Enforcement began apprehending and deporting illegal gang members, rapists, and murderers. And he immediately put an end to the Biden-era tidal wave of immigration. Over 20,000 illegal immigrants were arrested by ICE in a single month. That's almost as much as Biden's entire last year in office. Since that decisive and needed action was taken, we've seen a 94% drop in attempted illegal crossings year over year across our southern border. Let me remind you, Donald Trump has been in office just 6 weeks. It's refreshing to see a president enforce common sense immigration laws, reversing the last 4 years of failure and ending this illegal invasion once and for all. American sovereignty is back. President Trump's agenda is spurring action across the board. The Biden administration's America Last approach is over. Putting American first is back. Under Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the State Department is now standing up for our nation against our adversaries and standing with our ally Israel, getting it the security assistance that it needs to defend itself against Hamas terrorists, and reversing the anti-Israel and pro-Iran policies of the Biden administration. American leadership on the world stage is back. The same is happening at the Department of Defense under the leadership of Secretary Pete Hegseth. The days of prioritizing DEI initiatives and pronouns are in the past. Military readiness, lethality, and strength are back. Under Joe Biden and his administration, respect for America across the globe has deteriorated. Just look at the disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal back in 2021. Or communist China flying a spy balloon over our country for 10 days. Look at Biden destroying our energy independence and enriching and emboldening Russia to invade Ukraine in 2022. Or the horrific and evil attack by Iran-backed Hamas terrorists against Israel on October the 7th of 2023. For every Biden diplomacy disaster, our adversaries were further empowered. But things have changed under President Trump. Foreign nations are no longer taking advantage of us. Our president is standing up for our country, and decisions are being made in the best interest of the American taxpayer. You need only look at President Trump and Vice President Vance's meeting with President Zelensky last week. America's worldwide respect is back. Another thing Americans care deeply about that has been a top priority for this administration is ending the weaponization of our justice system. Thanks to President Trump, freedom of speech has prevailed over censorship, and intelligence officials who abuse their position to influence an election are finally being held accountable. And I'm confident that this much-needed reform will continue under the leadership of Director Kash Patel and Attorney General Pam Bondi. America's trust in our justice system is on its way back. In addition to our foreign policy, our economy is turning around because of President Trump's pro-growth and pro-business mindset, as well as his deregulatory approach. If anyone knows how to run a business, it's our president. His experience will benefit small business owners, manufacturers, farmers, and our workforce nationwide. One of the most critical ways he's already spurring economic growth is by unleashing digital asset innovation and unburdening the industry from predatory, confusing, and often contradictory regulations. And in a broader move, his executive order on regulation states that 10 regulations will be repealed for every new regulation that's proposed. Because of this, many unnecessary, bloated, and burdensome regulations will be repealed in order to restore economic dynamism in America. optimism is coming back across the nation. Economic growth, I can assure you, is back. Americans last November overwhelmingly declared that they wanted to see change in Washington. In just 6 weeks, President Trump is delivering on that mandate. Because of the efforts of the Department of Government Efficiency, we're cutting wasteful, abusive, and fraudulent spending across our federal government, saving millions of hardworking Americans' tax dollars. Transparency is back. All of these wins, all of this restoration and revitalization, are just the start of a new golden age in America. There's so much more to get done in order to deliver on the promises that were made to the American people. And I look forward to working with President Trump to deliver on those promises. These 6 weeks under the Trump administration and the President's address tonight make me incredibly optimistic for what's to come in the next 4 years. And I think the American people feel the same way. The state of our nation, the greatest nation the world has ever seen, is already stronger than it was the last 4 years, and it's getting stronger by the day. As your senator, I'll work with President Trump to do everything I can in the United States Senate to place the American people first, making our economy the most competitive it can be, our military as lethal as it can be, and our diplomacy as effective as it can be to advance America's interest. Thank you, and may God bless.